Nosferatu. Movie is quite unexpected for this channel, but we'll dive into it. The historical and mystic. Stolen or reimagined? Fascinating or disgusting? With many interesting facts and of course no spoilers. Nosferatu is a 2024 American Gothic horror film written and directed by Robert Eggers. In the early 1800s, a lonely young Ellen calls out to the supernatural, and something answers. A mysterious creature demands her eternal pledge in exchange for companionship. By 1838, Ellen is married to Thomas Hutter in Würzburg, Germany. She's haunted by dreams of marrying death and begs Thomas not to leave on a business trip, but he ignores her. His boss, Herr Nock, sends him to Transylvania to sell Grunwald Manor to the eerie Count Orlok. Upon arrival, Thomas finds the locals terrified of Orlok. One night, he witnesses villagers stalking a suspicious vampire. The next day, the town is abandoned, and a driverless carriage whisks him to Orlok's castle. Orlok forces Thomas to finalize the sale, steals his locket with Ellen's hair, and tricks him into signing an ominous document. Thomas later finds Orlok sleeping in a coffin but fails to kill him. Growing weaker, he escapes and is taken by nuns while Orlok sails to Würzburg, breeding plague-ridden rats and killing the ship's crew en route. I'll keep out the events that come after just in case you would want to watch it yourself. The information I gave you previously won't spoil anything. But what we've seen greatly over the past couple of years is that this movie is also a remake. Let's say remake of the remake. It is a remake of the film Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror of 1922, itself an unauthorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's novel Dracula of 1897. It stars Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoult, and Lily-Rose Depp. The supporting cast includes Aaron Taylor Johnson, Emma Corrin, Ralph Ineson, Simon McBurney, and Willem Dafoe. Development began in 2015 when Robert Eggers planned to make it his second film. He described it as a passion project, but eventually opted to delay its production. Skarsgård and Depp were cast in lead roles in September 2022. Filming took place primarily in Barrandov Studios in Prague between February and May 2023. The film received generally positive reviews from critics and has grossed $172 million worldwide on a $50 million budget, becoming Eggers' highest grossing film. At the 97th Academy Awards, the film earned nominations for Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Production Design, and Best Makeup and Hairstyling. And I believe it to be more than fair, but we'll return to it later. Nosferatu has been creeping through cinema history for over a century, refusing to stay buried. The 2024 film is the latest retelling following Murnau's 1922 silent classic and Herzog's eerie 1979 remake. But here's the fun part. Murnau's Nosferatu only exists because the filmmakers wanted to adapt Dracula without actually paying for the rights. Instead of paying royalties to Bram Stoker's estate, they simply tweaked some names and hoped for the best. Spoiler, it didn't work. Stoker's widow, Florence Belcom, sued, and court ordered every copy of Nosferatu to be destroyed. But like its undead antagonist, the film refused to die. Some prints survive, eventually getting restored once the copyright expired. Set in 19th century Germany, Nosferatu stuck close to Dracula's premise, just with Count Orlok in place of Dracula and enough little changes to almost get away with it. Now, 100 years later, the legend is still going strong. It's good that Carpathian Mountains are tall and big, that Graf Dracula, which is Count Dracula, didn't come to Ukraine. Orlok has always been a creature of nightmares, but this time, Eggers leans fully into folklore. Instead of Myrna's red-faced terror of the aristocratic vampire cliché, this Orlok is a relic of something older, dressed in historically accurate 16th century Hungarian noble attire. His looks pulls from Transylvanian military fashion with tunics, overcoats, and kolpak hat. No gothic cape, no slick back hair, just pure, eerie authenticity. His body tells its own story of decay. Prosthetic designer David White took inspiration from Ötzi the Iceman, crafting a version of Orlok who looks like he's been drained of life for centuries, desiccated, hollow, unsettling. And rather than the usual vampiric theatrics, Eggers wanted something linguistically authentic. Orlok speaks a reconstructed form of Dacian, an ancient and long-gone language, while the rest of Transylvania hums with Romanian and Romani dialects. The film also laces in nods of horror history. The Phantom Carriage, 1922, makes its eerie presence felt, while Eggers pulls from unexpected sources like Jean-Martin Charcot's studies on hysteria and fevered madness of Andrzej Żuławski films. The result? A Nosferatu that feels ancient, primal, and deeply, deeply unnerving. Principal photography began in the Czech Republic on February 20th, 2023, with filming taking place at Barrandov Studios in Prague by March. Later that month, the crew was shooting on the location at the 14th century castle, a Baroque building registered as a national landmark. Some exterior shots were captured in Corrin Castle in Romania. To prepare for playing Count Orlok, Skarsgård lost a significant amount of weight, and refusing to have his voice digitally modulated, worked with the Icelandic opera singer, whose name I'm unable to pronounce. To lower his vocal range and character, incorporated Mongolian throat singing into his lines, and spent up to 6 hours a day having prosthetic makeup applied. Skarsgård likened his experience to conjuring pure evil. Hoult said he felt real fear when wolves on set had to be restrained before filming chase scenes with him. The film makes use of several custom-made props, some of which were kept by the actors after filming. Eggers gifted Depp the prop of Ellen's locket, and something that Hoult took as well, that I cannot say probably here. I like the way the movie is filmed. The title is made like in old movies. The atmosphere and camera work are great. It is a classic horror movie with the anticipation and screamer coming right after you would expect it. But I would say much longer than you would expect, which makes it even more unnerving. Let's remember that you're watching a video of a person who doesn't really watch or like horror movies. So for me, it was more of a stressful experience than enjoyable. I'll see these scenes in my sleep now. Why did I even watch it? But coming back to reality, you can see that the graphics are not that good, hidden by the darkness. An old move, but yet effective. In the movie theater, it would be extremely hard to notice that. The other thing is that this movie has basic horror logic. If you're being horror ASD by an old man at night and screaming a seagull while that happened, of course in the morning you'll go to explore his lair. Who would want to leave? While protecting myself from being scared, I found a couple of funny moments. One of them is that Orlok looks like Cossack, a Ukrainian warrior of Zaporizhzhia siege in 15th century. Old man has a mustache and oseledets, like a top knot, hairstyle that was worn by Cossack as well. It's a really interesting detail, and I'm wondering why the choice was made. Of course, I'm more informed about the history of my country, not Romania. If you know more about it, please let me know in the comments. The thing that attracted me the most is the famous cast. The acting is top-notch, and I can't even imagine how hard it is to play something like that. Romanian village of old people and men sends a young woman into the woods. Weird. Where did they find her? Also, the exposition the scene itself reminds me of is the movie V, the adaptation of the novel about Ukrainian village legends, but there is a different villain in the story, witch and her master. Really mysterious and dark. I was scared of it when I was little. But returning to Nosferatu. If you don't like the horror movies, don't watch it. For your own mental health. If you do, on the other hand, then you will most likely enjoy it. I find it pretty disgusting at times. A lot, to be honest. But appreciate the art of it and realistic makeup and costumes above all. Above CGI for sure. Watch only good movies, and remember, if your wife tells you not to go to the unknown country, to the unknown old guy who knows why, you better listen to her. And I need to talk after this.
Me in poor health, you will remain and well rest yourself.
I must object, my lord.
You will obey this my counsel.
But, my lord... Count?